The following segments are pre-recorded and sponsored by Longworth Productions.
Golf for a good cause on Triad Today. Hello everyone, I'm Jim Longworth and welcome to another edition of Triad Today, coming to you again from the Senior Botanical Garden in Kernersville. We have a lot in store over the next half hour. Where we want to start is talking about law enforcement and crime control, and we do that with a very special guest, Captain Anthony Price with the Greensboro Police Department. Good to see you.
It's good to see you.
How long have you been in law enforcement and how long in Greensboro?
I'm coming up on my 21st year in law enforcement.
Wow.
I've been in Greensboro since 2000.
Yeah, because you told me you came up from Fairfax, Virginia. You were born there.
Right.
Were you in law enforcement in Virginia or other places before coming here?
No, when I got here, I went to Greensboro College, and I was a political science major, so I interned at the police department.
Cool.
And I've been here ever since. All
right, you sent me an email one day about something called the Crime Gun Intelligence Center.
Correct.
What is that?
So basically, it's a concept at our agency, but it's a group of folks or a squad of folks that focuses on anything crime gun related or crime gun centric. So if it's a shooting in an occupied dwelling, anything that focuses on firearms and crime guns, that's what their job is.
Armed robbery, anything.
Yeah, if there's a connection where that goes into another shooting or something, they'll focus on it.
Now, I think it's interesting you say it's a concept, but it's a great team concept. Now, what happens, have you been able to track any kind of results? I mean, how long have you been doing it?
So officially about 2 years. When Chief took over, he established the Investigative Support Division.
Right.
And in that, in the intelligence unit is the Crime Gun Intelligence Center.
So you're seeing any improvements or less armed robberies or crime with guns, or going down, or what?
Yeah, we definitely, I think once we got up and running between our homicide squad and then our group and our violent crime reduction team, you saw the homicides go down, and we're targeted on specific offenders who use firearms to commit crimes.
Are stolen guns a big problem?
They are. I don't know our exact numbers. I think I looked on the board the other day. I think our violent crime reduction team has seized maybe 20 this year, but they're all over the place. In fact, the other day I was out with a squad, and there was 3 individuals, 2 were stolen.
There are folks, of course, in this area throughout Piedmont that are licensed to have a handgun, and sometimes they will take the gun and put it in their glove compartment. Now, what advice do you have for them?
It's real simple. All you have to do is lock your doors. And, if you're going to keep your gun in your car and you're going to go do whatever you're going to do, just put the gun out of sight and lock your car doors. What we're seeing is a lot of people think that you see criminals go and smash windows and take firearms.
They don't do that.
They just check unlocked doors and take firearms.
Because smashing the window calls too much attention to what they're doing. They won't be able to open that door real quick and get stuff out of there. There's something called Save a Casing program, which I guess refers to the casing of ammunition.
Right. So it's a free program at our agency, and basically what it does is you don't have to turn your casings in. You will, if you go to the range one day, keep 2 of those casings, put them away, and what'll happen is if you end up being a victim and your gun is stolen, and your gun is used in a crime, we can use those casings under basically using science.
Oh, I got you. So if somebody steals my gun later on, you'll be able to match it up.
I already have it with that firearm.
All right, since you and I just met a minute ago and before time runs out, let me ask you a personal question.
Okay.
Other than the fact I know you were born in Fairfax, Virginia. Who or what led you to a career in law enforcement? Was it an aunt, an uncle, mom, dad, a teacher, or what?
It really was just, I was an intern at Greensboro College, and I need some credit hours, so I was like, I'll do it at the police department. I've always been interested in it.
Right.
And I'll be honest, it was a great intern program. I fell in love with it, and I've been here ever since.
What particularly do you like about the Greensboro Police Department? I know we're not supposed to do commercials on the show, but this would be kind of a commercial. What would you say to somebody who's thinking about a career in law enforcement in Greensboro?
I think Greensboro, it's the 3rd largest agency in the state of North Carolina, and I've done a ton of things at the Greensboro Police Department, and it offers you opportunities to move within the police department. Smaller agencies, you don't get to move as much. We have a ton of positions, both laterally and vertically, and so that's what I like about it.
That's amazing. That's great. Up on screen, you can go to greensboro-nc.gov/department/police. You can also, if you're interested in a career, go to GPD Careers. SafeSober.com. Captain Anthony Price, I appreciate you coming and also for
Thanks
your
for having me.
service and what you're doing to help people. Thanks.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
We'll be right back after this.
You know, it's hard to believe the Safe Sober program has been going strong for over 30 years.
And over 600,000 students have made the pledge to stay safe and sober on prom night. You know, Griff, it's had a huge impact on our community.
Yeah, you're right, David. And now we're making sure the message continues year-round.
So everyone can join us in supporting our students.
Learn more and take the pledge at SafeSober.com, sponsored by Daggett Schuler.
The world's brightest are Fulbrights, Goldwaters, McNairs, and Spartans. Prestigious doesn't have to be expensive.
And we know you will make a difference wherever you go.
UNCG. Find your way here.
Back now on Triad Today, and always glad when this young lady can visit the program because she does so many great things for so many folks, her and her team at Shift Ed. We're talking about Wendy Poteet, President, CEO of Shift Ed. Good to see you again.
Good to be here, Jim.
Remind us again, for people that may not know or just moved in the area, what's the mission of Shift Ed?
The mission of Shift Ed is simple: to boldly accelerate student potential, and our vision is to transform our community through educational and workforce pathways.
And people who do know about you sometimes will come up to me and they say, hey, that's a great group that Wendy has. They do college scholarships for high school seniors, but you guys do a lot for kids of all ages.
We absolutely do. We start work as early as pre-K with transition into kindergarten, and we work with children all the way to and through college and into workforce and military.
Get them ready for not just with the high school seniors ready for college, but, you're talking about a kindergarten kid, get them ready to study, get them
Absolutely.
ready to... Okay, now, there's you emailed me one day and said you've got this big event. It's a red carpet event coming up. What is it? When is it? Where is it? Give me the lowdown on it.
Okay, so Shift Ed, Guilford County Schools, High Point Mayor Cyril Jefferson are all featured in the latest episode of Viewpoint with Dennis Quaid.
That's on PBS.
Absolutely. The episode that we are in is featuring innovation in education, and we are so excited to be a part of the new episode that is coming out.
That's neat that they chose that.
Absolutely.
And so
we're excited.
local people are going to appear in it and everything.
Absolutely.
Now, why is this episode, now the red carpet events you're having, though, will take place in High Point, right?
High Point. So April 24th, 5:30 to 8 p.m., Blue Heron Event Center. The attendees will get a sneak peek of the episode that
Before
we're
it
going to
ever
be
airs.
featured in.
We get
Absolutely.
to see it first. Now, why, you've already answered this partially, but why is this episode so important and significant to Guilford County?
I think for Shift Ed and for Guilford County Schools, oftentimes you only hear about the issues that we have in the schools, right? Guilford County Schools has a lot to be proud of. I'll give you case in point. When COVID came, everybody knows that learning loss was exponential for students across the nation. Guilford County had innovative leadership that thought about what do we need to do. It's individualized tutoring. They started learning hubs. They started high dosage tutoring that got national attention. We had retired teachers, college students, community volunteers that came together and implemented this program. So that innovation worked, and we're going to talk about that innovation in the video. But also, when the funds ran out last year and Guilford County Schools said, we're going to have to stop this, Shift Ed was innovative and said, we can't stop this because it's working. You could see it in the numbers.
Right.
We used our partnerships and leveraged local funders and were able to grant $700,000 to Guilford County Schools, along with the High Point Community Foundation that made a sizable donation in order to keep the tutoring program going for Guilford County Schools and our students.
Important for people to make donations. We'll put up your website in just a second because we want people to make cash donations to Shift Ed, especially in this day and age where it seems like there's state and federal cutbacks for various things. But what if you run into somebody who says, Ms. Poteet, well, why don't the schools just focus on reading, writing, and arithmetic? What is this whole innovation thing?
Innovation is important. If you think 50 years ago, the world was a different place. I was 2 years old 50 years ago.
Yeah.
But
I was 102.
Students were expected to graduate from high school, maybe go on to college, maybe to the military, and they were expected to work in that same job for a lifetime. The world is different now. The technology language, the youngest students speak that language. They need to learn about how to work collaboratively, how to think about things with the entrepreneurial mindset, and what careers of the future can actually look like, the ones they implement themselves into or the ones they create for society.
Absolutely. Now, up on screen, let's just remind folks the red carpet premiere of this famous episode we've been talking about that's going to feature Guilford County on PBS. The red carpet event is Thursday, April 24th, 5:30 to 8. It's at Blue Heron in High Point. You can go for more information to shifted.org, which I hope you will do. Again, that's shifted.org, which also tells you a lot about what Wendy and her team are up to in helping kids of all ages getting prepared for school, for college, for life, for careers. And we hope you will check that out and donate if you can. Absolutely. Wendy, are you going to be able to stick around for the roundtable?
Absolutely. Love to.
All right, my friend. We'll be right back after this. Hi, I'm Jim Longworth, reminding you that Triad Today also airs on GTN Spectrum Channel 13 and streams on WFMY Plus, free on Roku and Amazon Fire.
The world's brightest are Fulbrights, Goldwaters, McNairs, and Spartans. Prestigious doesn't have to be expensive. UNCG. Find your way here.
Back now on Triad Today, and as someone in his 70s who suffers with joint pain, I want this special guest to have all the time he needs. We're going to do the whole, no, we're just going to have a few minutes. But we welcome, for first-time visitor, Dr. Lewis McIntyre. He's clinical physician executive for Novant Health Orthopedics and Sports Medicine in the Winston-Salem area. Thanks for coming.
It's a pleasure to be here. Thanks for having me.
How common is joint pain?
Very common, especially as we see an aging of the population. So especially osteoarthritic type pain. Yeah. The knees, the hips, the shoulders, all body parts is
Yeah,
growing.
I noticed once I got into my mid-60s, everything started coming back. But this is not just a problem for older people, right?
No, certainly not. I mean, joint pain can occur for many different reasons. Mostly in younger people, it's from trauma, right? So usually younger people have injuries that precipitate their pain, and then the degenerative type of symptoms don't occur until we're a little bit older.
Right. And how does somebody know? Let's say somebody's in their 20s and they sprain something or they hurt something. How do they know when they're complaining at home about the pain? This pain's worse today than it was yesterday. How do they know it's time for surgery?
Well, luckily, most injuries don't require surgery. And usually some form of non-operative care is instituted well before surgery is recommended. There are certain things that require surgical treatments right off the bat, some fractures, certain ligament injuries, anterior cruciate ligament injuries, certain problems in the shoulder with labral tears or hip labral tears. Those will require surgery in young people, but for the most part, some type of conservative non-operative care is going to be recommended first.
In terms of joint replacement, are things better than they used to be in terms of not just the procedure, but the aftercare and recovery, and how do we look from years gone by?
I'd say that they're much better, and it doesn't revolve so much about the replacements themselves. In other words, the components, the artificial joint components, those are fairly consistent. They've been for years the same. It's all the things we do around that to prepare patients for surgery, to actually do the surgical procedures. We're doing minimally invasive incisions and
That's
things
great.
like that. We use a lot of multimodal pain mitigation that really helps with the postoperative pain that patients who have joint replacements have. And there's a site of service migration ongoing right now from the inpatient to the outpatient arena for total joints.
Right, and so that sort of goes to the question of people who say, well, I've been told by the surgeon that I probably need this kind of surgery or that kind of, but boy, I'm frightened about the recovery. It's going to take forever.
Yeah, I mean, certainly recovery can be a challenge, but I think some of the things we've instituted, preoperatively to prepare patients, postoperatively to rapidly recover them, and then, with anesthesia and pain mitigation, that helps a lot. But yeah, in reality, right, joint replacement surgery takes about 3 months to recover from. You can have improvement in your limb for a year after joint replacement, but most of the improvement is in the first 3 months.
Doc, since you and I just met, and it's the first time on the show, and we're so glad to have you, let me take the last few seconds just to ask you, who or what led you to a career in medicine? Was it a mom, a dad, an aunt, an uncle, a teacher?
It was an injury. Several injuries. So I played rugby as a young man and played for about 17 years, and dislocated my shoulders several times and came in contact with a number of orthopedic surgeons as a result. And the gentleman that I met back then sort of sparked my interest in a career in orthopedics and medicine. Yeah, so that was a long time ago.
Now, where did you grow up?
I grew up in New York.
Okay.
New York and Rhode Island. So.
They say the New York guys are rough with that rugby stuff.
Elegant violence.
Well, I won't comment on that.
Yeah.
All right, up on screen, novonthealth.org/services/orthopedics you can go to, and that gets you more information to Dr. Lewis McIntyre. Thanks for all the people you help. Thanks for being here, and I hope you won't be a stranger.
I won't. Thank you very much. It's lovely being here. Thank you.
We'll be right back after this.
North Carolina's economy is growing, bringing new businesses and opportunities. The need for electricity is growing too. At Duke Energy, we're meeting the challenge, providing even more electricity that's cleaner, reliable, and that stays affordable. We're getting out of coal and reinvesting in our communities with a diverse, balanced mix of energy sources and making targeted upgrades to the grid so that North Carolina can thrive in a smarter energy future.
Back now on Triad Today, and always nice to visit with these folks who've been on the show before, and the reason they've been on before is because of all the great community service they do. I'm talking about, of course, Omni Fowler, who's executive with Modern Auto, and Aaron Richardson, Director of Development for ABC of NC. Good to see both of you.
Good to see you.
Omni, I'm going to start with you. In what ways have you and your family and Modern Auto supported ABC of NC over the years?
Well, my son, Wyatt, is on the spectrum, and he attended ABC when he was younger for about 4 years, and they just did amazing. I watched them do amazing things for him, and he's doing wonderful now, and I've been so impressed with what the school does.
You really believed in their mission, and I guess that's what led you to support them in so many other things too, like we're going to talk about the golf tournament, but things like that, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. Aaron, let's remind people, because it's been a while since you and I have talked, just remind people what the mission of ABC of NC is.
Absolutely. So we're committed to providing high-quality, evidence-based autism services. We have a school and a clinic based out of Winston-Salem.
How has your organization benefited from the support from Modern Auto and their team over the years?
I mean, the support that we've received from Omni, his family, and Modern Auto is irreplaceable, truly. Our total last year was brought to over $500,000 in funds raised, and that money goes to supporting things like financial aid for our family so that they're able to receive our services.
All right, now let's talk about something fun that helps support your organization, your wonderful organization, and Omni's a big part of this, and that's the Modern Toyota Golf Classic. Tell me about that.
Absolutely. It's coming up on May 19th this year. Last year's event was wonderful. We raised over $67,000, and right now we're at $57,000, and it's basically a time for the community to come out and support us.
And that's a one-day event, though.
It's a one-day event.
Last year, $67,000.
Absolutely.
You got to break that this year.
Yes, we're trying.
Now, in addition to playing in the Classic, I guess I can, pay to be in a foursome or that kind of thing, and we'll give a website in a minute where people can find out more information. But other than saying, I want to pay to be in a foursome, I want to support this, I want to actually play, what can the community do to support it for folks that maybe don't play golf?
Absolutely. One thing is getting our message out there. So going to our website as well as following us on social media at ABC of NC.
Right. Omni, are you going to play in this thing on May 19th?
Yes, I usually play and host. So, but we look forward. It's at Forsyth Country Club, so it's nice that great venue. And if any of the community wants to come out and just just have some fun, watch. We've got auction items out there. It's
Really?
a fun event just to come out.
I didn't know. What kind of auction items are we talking about?
So we have a silent auction, and everything that we get is donated from local businesses and local artists. So we have things like jewelry, art, we have gift cards. So you can find out more about that on our website as well.
So even, Omni's going to play, and like I hear about it on TV. I said, well, I don't play golf, but I'll come out there. All right, so do I have to pay to watch, or do I just come in and I can do the auction, or what?
You can absolutely come. It's a silent auction, so you don't even have to attend the event to buy auction items or to bid.
Right.
But we also always need volunteers. So if you just want to be out on a beautiful Monday, you can come and hang out with us and help out with the different contests throughout the course.
I just think that's great. So if somebody gets a hole-in-one, what happens?
Oh, they win a brand new Toyota.
I really set him up for that, didn't I? I want to put some stuff up here on screen before I forget. Modern Toyota Golf Classic. Now, as Aaron was saying, it's going to, of course, benefit ABC of NC, which, as Omni said, it does such great work. Monday, May 19th. It will be at Forsyth Country Club. You can go to abcgolf25.givesmart.com for more information specifically for that. You can also go to the general website, abcofnc.org. And I hope you will always take time to visit modernauto.com to see what all those folks are offering and what they're up to. But I tell you, you two make a great team. And I appreciate all you're doing for the community and for ABC of NC and for all the kids. I appreciate it.
Well, we do too. Thank you for helping us get the message out there.
All right. We'll be right back after this. Hi, I'm Jim Longworth, reminding you to catch my column Longworth at Large and Yes Weekly every week. It's available throughout the Triad, or you can go online, yesweekly.com. Back now on Triad Today, just about time for the roundtable, but a quick shout out to the good folks here at Senior Botanical Garden. It's lovely this time of year, and it's lovelier here because Wendy's with us. On my right, I'll get to Wendy in a second. On my right, always the political left, Ogie Oberman, and Wendy was here earlier on the program talking about a big red carpet event. And this is we're sort of a big red carpet event. The roundtable is too. Anyway, okay, and Bob Shackelford's here filling in for Keith. And of course, Bob, former president of Randolph Community College, now has his own consulting business. All right, guys and gals, in an effort to avoid large groups of people protesting local zoning laws, the state Senate is proposing a bill that would require a neighborhood group or organization to be represented by an attorney if they want to speak about an issue. Is this law a good way of keeping order in public hearings? Or is it a way to stifle group members to voice their objections when they can't afford an attorney? Ogie.
Well, if that passes, they're going to hear from an attorney from the ACLU because that is a clear violation of freedom of speech.
I think so.
Clear violation.
Wendy, what do you think? Because your neighborhood has a problem with something, you want to go and everybody, all 50 of you speak, but if this passes, no.
I mean, it's just another way to try to take away freedom of speech from people and to tear down democracy.
Bob, what do you think?
It's a terrible idea to put the voice of lawyers between the elected officials and the people. Let the people speak.
Right. Even though it would cut down on the time and length of meetings, but it's still a bad situation. All right, meanwhile, a state House bill would require the General Assembly to display the motto, "In God We Trust," behind the House Speaker and the Senate President. Anybody have a problem with that?
Oh. Well, we've been talking about this one since 20 years. Separation of church and state. How clear can it be?
But Wendy, "In God We Trust" is on the dollar bill and all that stuff. What's the problem?
I personally don't disagree with it. I think we need to be thinking about "In God We Trust" and not "In Trump We Trust."
Okay. Bob, what do you think?
Well, beyond church and state, I think when it's a conviction they live by rather than a motto they hang on the wall for political purposes, that's when they ought to hang.
Okay. President Trump has already issued pardons for the mob who stormed the Capitol and injured hundreds of police officers. Several were killed. Now Trump is proposing to give financial compensation to those criminals. You okay with taxpayers footing the bill to compensate January 6th insurrectionists, Ogie?
Well, you just wonder how low can he go. I mean, every day it gets a little bit lower.
Yeah.
And this is a stupid idea of the week.
Didn't say how much money would go to him. It's not finalized or anything, Wendy.
I think we could find something better to use taxpayer dollars for than rewarding criminals for trying to overthrow the government.
Yeah, I mean, you're in the business of helping kids get scholarships and all that. That's a good cause, but not for this. Bob?
I think the whole idea of them being pardoned was ludicrous. And the idea of taking taxpayer money to give to them is just despicable. And it just means that all of our values are backwards.
Yeah. Well said. Now, some members of Congress would like to reinstate the draft and require young people to serve a stint in the military. Supporters say compulsory service would be good for the country and the young people. Critics say this would be an infringement on personal freedom of the young men and women. Is instituting a draft a good idea or a bad idea?
Well, it's another horrible idea. I mean, we're not at war, you know. I mean, in Vietnam, anybody old enough to know how the late 60s and 70s, what just a civil war, on the verge of civil war.
It was. I was drafted too. I mean, you're too young then to know that it was a stupid war or whatever. You just say, oh yeah, I'll go. But Wendy, what do you think? Military service compulsory?
I think it should be a personal choice. As a mom of 3 boys that are draft age eligible, I find it ridiculous.
Yeah. Bob?
Jim, I served 22 and a half years as a military chaplain, and I believe in the value. But when the commander-in-chief is calling our men and women in uniform suckers and losers, and when they're cutting the VA and health care, and when the rich people can pay a doctor to write them a letter about bone spurs, it's just unthinkable that you would require young people to go.
All right. Speaking of Trump, he wants to discontinue minting of the penny because it costs too much. He's right about that. And it also costs 14 cents to make a nickel. Very quickly, guys and gals, should we stop minting pennies and nickels? Ogie, quickly.
I think probably we're going to stop pennies. I don't think nickels is going to happen.
Wendy?
I think it makes sense, but also can we find something else to be focused on with everything going on in the world?
It's a diversion, Bob, quickly.
Jim, I've been cashless for years. If they stopped making all the coins, I would never know.
You don't use them.
I don't have a penny in my pocket.
All right, finally, researchers at the University of Ottawa say if you submerge yourself in cold water for an hour each day for 7 days, you'll kill off damaged cells in your body, guys and gals. Would you sit in an ice bath for a week to make your body healthier, Ogie?
No, I would not do that.
You don't think so?
I mean, some athletes do that.
Yeah.
There may be something to it, but not for me.
Wendy, you're athletic, and you got your knee healing a little bit right now, but I mean, would you sit in some ice water for a week? Or?
I actually do it. I actually do a cold plunge.
That?
I try to do it at least a few times a year, and it actually does make your body feel a lot better.
Bob?
Wow. Well, I could choose a healthy body with ice bath. I think I'll choose a happy body with a sauna.
Okay. All right. Well, that's all the time we have, except for this. There's an elderly man in Japan who's just announced that he has this 150-pound tortoise that is his support animal. Said the man, this turtle has really helped me come out of my shell. I don't know what that means. All right. For all of us here on Triad Today, I'm Jim Longworth. We'll see you next week.